Hi and welcome everybody with drawing this beautiful and sweet little bird, the robin. And this bird will be sitting in a winter landscape with a lot of snow and some surroundings, of course. And what I noticed is that this bird is very round of body. It's a rounded little bulb, and sticking from that are those wings and a little tail, and they are very lovely. And of course you can watch the real-time work on one-on-one on my Patreon, and also you get to support me in making these lovely tutorials. Now the setup I did with a dark gray pastel pencil. In this case it's the Pastel by Faber-Castell, and you can see here the rounded body of this little fellow. And what I also want to draw in are the markings that are on his body, and that is the red breast, of course, and then the space in between the red and the brown of his body. And I also want to put in those tiny little as thin as matches legs, and he is sitting there on a snowy pole. It's an old pole, and the snow is really icy. It's frosted over, and this pole will be covered with barbed wire. Now there is a reason because I was drawing this. The reason is that the barbed wire is in a real contrast with the softness and the loveliness of this little robin. So I've chosen this on purpose, that old pole with that barbed wire, all covered in snow and all icy. And this is my horizon. It's a little bit of a hill landscape. And what I'm doing here is I put in a little bit of light blue pastel. And of course it's not necessary to use pastel. I just use it because I'm very lazy, but normally you would draw in a little bit of sky with the light blue pastel pencil. I've done this because I needed to get the colors right in the robin. So I need a little bit of surrounding color. I'm sorry if my voice now and then doesn't get that well. I'm very I've got a cold, so I'm not good with the voice at the moment. I've put in dark brown for the colors on the top of the body. Then I've used a little bit of dark ochre, and then I top this off with light yellow and white for the white feather marking just behind next to the wing. And I also used white to blend everything in together. And here on top of the breast there is white, of course, and also the snow on the top of the pole where this little bird is sitting on. Then this is the mid section between the red and the brown of the body. It's kind of a sort of gray, and I'm using that dark gray and then put in a little bit of blue. It's a light blue, and that will appear like gray. Then I start putting in the red of this robin. It's also called a red breast, and as an underlayer I use a soft orange. Then I take a scarlet, a dark red, and I place this over the orange. There are many colors in that red breast, so I try to make it as realistic as possible, and I also use a little bit of red in those tiny paws. Then I take my light yellow again, and I simply try to draw in as many feathers as possible. Excuse me. Then I've taken the dark gray, and I use that for the beak. Just two little dark markings will be sufficient, and a little bit for the eye. And there's a tiny white marking just next to the eye, so I also draw this in. And then I also put a little bit of purple in the body, and that's for the bottom part of the body and in between the brown and the red. So that is a very distinguished marking that you want to draw in. Put in a little bit of extra dark shadows so that the wings pop out correctly, and the tail, of course. And I also do that just underneath the body itself, on the paws. And I use that dark gray also on the pole, just underneath the snow. Then I go over that with the white again, and they blend together very nicely. And I also use the white for the barbed wire. This barbed wire is very important in this drawing, and I want that snow and ice to be as cold as possible, so I'm using that bluish gray and then put some white over it. And I also use that dark gray for the bushes that are in the background. I simply draw in some kind of pine tree, and then I go over it with my white pastel pencil. By drawing in from left to right, you get that blurry effect, and it kind of looks like it is foggy and it is a snowy day. Then this might look odd, but I'm using a purple for the farthest field, and then I go in with the white pastel again to put a little bit of ice on top of the barbed wire, and that purple will make the ice that is on the barbed wire stand out even better. That purple is an underlayment, so I will top this off with another color later on, but I really need it. And this is the dark gray, so I draw back that barbed wire again a little bit, which is so important for the composition and for what I wanted to give away as a feel for this drawing. Here I go in back with the purple again, and then I put over it the white to blur it in. Then here on the left side, of course, there's also an icy surface on that barbed wire. And here I simply finish off the horizon. And I put in a little bit of white just in between the barbed wires. Just a little bit of white. Then I use a little bit more, I need a little bit more sky here. So I'm lazy again. But that Pastel palette knife is really nice also to blur out the stripes that you make with the pastel pencils. So the palette knife is an excellent blender for making blurry backgrounds, for instance. Here on the bird itself I put in a little bit more brown and a little bit more light yellow for the reflection of the snow that is casted upon the breast. And then I'm taking my light yellow pastel pencil for the legs of the bird and a little bit for the poll. And I also use that light yellow to temper down the purple. So yellow and purple are complementary to each other. So it's an ideal mixture to get that atmospheric perspective and to build up a snowy landscape. Well, I will make some extra adjustments, just some feathers popping out with the white. But I'm good as finished here. I hope you will give this a try. It's so lovely to do. And I hope you will give it a big thumbs up. I hope to be in a better condition next Friday because I'm really got the flu here. Check out my Patreon if you want and maybe support me, and I will see you again next Friday. I wish you all the luck with this drawing. Take care. Bye bye.